packs of toys, embryo we break through. Unbox the fire, showcase the find. Collectors worldwide, all one of a kind. ToyLeet, we set the pace, elite with the heat in this plastic race. ToyLeet, not just a name, we're the culture, the vibe, the collecting flame. Click, snap, pose, it's more than display. We stack with style, redefining play. Custom builds, epic drops, from stream to shelf, we never stop. ToyLeet, it's not just toys, it's legacy we stack. ToyLeet's the movement, and we're never looking back.
That's us. What's up, dude?
What's happening, my man?
I was still cruising over on the other tube here, and it kind of cut off there abruptly. I wasn't expecting it. So,
That did cut off
things going,
awfully
man.
abruptly. We're used to it repeating itself, though.
I think that's what it is. I figured out how to use the system, so it's not the same, not same broken issues. You know, we got a little magic in here.
How are we doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. I think that the crowd's happy.
Sounds like
We're
happiness.
We're here. Yeah, we're doing stuff. I did see a message in there from GI Jetman. Sounds like he's a little under the weather, so he's not going to be in the chat tonight. Get well, buddy.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Feel better, brother. Feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. Catch us on the replay. But yeah, how's everything going on your end, dude?
Yeah, during the summer, we had a couple of really nice days. It was like 75, 80 degrees without any humidity. It was beautiful, man. I was outside, went for a walk the last 3 days for about 5 miles. It's nice.
Wow, that's a long walk, man.
Yeah, it's good for you, brother.
It's a long walk. Yeah, my good. Speaking of health and good for me, my 21-year-old sent me a message and he's like, "Hey, you busy tomorrow morning?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be heading in the office, probably close to 7 or so." And he's like, "Oh," I was like, "Why, you need something?" He's like, "Yeah, I need your help before you go to work at 7." And I said, "This is a trick. When you say you need help before 7 in the morning, does that mean you're trying to help your dad live longer and you're trying to make me go to the gym?"
Yeah.
And he confirmed that. So he said we're gonna work on our chesticles, as he referred to it. So he's having me go to the gym with him in the morning to lift. So I haven't been to the gym in quite some time. I had a gym at the house for a while. We got rid of it a couple years back when I opened up the dungeon down there for the print farm. And he's gonna make me go lift.
Hurting
We'll
puppy,
see.
man.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring. It's been a while. But it's good for me. So yeah, I'll be doing that.
Oh, yeah, good for you, man.
For those of us just tuning in, though, just give you the rundown of who we are, what we are, and where we're going. And part of that is we are the ToyLeet. He is Ed Axion Figs. I am the Mr. Wonderful Travis. We combined together are the ToyLeet. And this is our weekly show, the ToyLeet Takeover, where we dive into independent toys, our plastic passion. We talk about the news and the happenings in the independent toy space and the adjacent. We always talk about a main topic. This week we have a... legacy at risk is the topic. How can we save the next generation of collectors? I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. We won't take 3 hours to get there like some other people do, but we'll get there shortly. We also like to do a shout out from the Crick, where we champion someone in the community doing some cool things. I think Ed's bringing that on and continuing to carry on that legacy from when he was partnered with his son on this stream, when this first whole thing got concocted. So that's what we do, how we do it. And we also do a little ToyLeet or toilet segment. I could talk about something this week, Ed, because I finally opened up something.
Oh.
So, I did open up the ball and chain.
Well, let's
Warrior
talk
with
about
ball
it.
and chain.
Because I don't have anything. I did not do any pickups this week.
Oh, man, that's too bad, because...
I did order some
I didn't get
stuff from
anything new.
I did order from the Savage Crucible in stock sale, but I did not get.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I mean, I could also do this custom fodder one that I built, but I'll save that one for another time, and I'll bring up the Warrior with Ball and Chain. I don't have his cape on him because this is actually the one that I'm gonna customize and kind of fodder around with and pop some things off and do some customization based on the bucket of extra crap that I got with the accessory packs. But he's good, man. I will say his skin tone is a little different than the other male figures.
Yep.
I assume that has to do with the agreement with the Forsetta, museum and
Yeah.
making it match as close to their likeness that they wanted it to, and they had to prove on it. Probably couldn't do exactly as they had on the other figures for whatever reason.
It's probably a good thing though. Adds a little diversity to the line, you know.
Yeah, it's the bummer is that the head sculpts, right? Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
unless you keep the cape on or some armor to kind of deviate from the head to the rest of the body, if you want to use an alternative head, it makes it a little off, put off there. But otherwise, great figure. I love the boots that he has on, the fur there. They did a great job. And if you're a fan of the Warrior Ball and Chain and Forsetta's artwork, this definitely does a great job representing that figure or
Yeah,
that art,
100%.
that piece of art in figure form. So you have something you can articulate. You can strike the pose very well. He's got the necklace. I thought this was really cool how they do these like shoulder hole peg things that go into the shoulders.
the cape
that,
on?
Yeah, like it clips on, and they kept them flesh colored so that like you don't necessarily see them as easily.
When the
I thought
cape's
that was
on, you
cool.
don't see him at all.
Yeah, like what's the reason you have them there if you don't have the cape on?
You can
Is
just
it just
pull
to
them
fill the
off.
hole?
You can just pull them off.
So
It
why
looks
would you ever need these though? I thought it was cool that they made them flesh colored, but what's the use for them?
just to hold the cape on. They made them flesh colored, so it blends in when you got the cape on. You can take
I
them
didn't
off if you're
realize you
not
needed
using
that. I didn't realize that you needed this for the cape.
that.
Somehow I must have
Those,
got the cape on my other one to hold on.
you know the shoulder things. They come over and then they have like that little thing at the end, right? The flat piece.
Yeah.
There's a little elastic band inside the cape
Oh,
that slides through, and it holds the cape on.
I must have done something else to get it to connect.
You
I
must
don't
have
know
done.
what I did.
I don't know what you did.
Maybe I did it with these, but I thought I connected it to itself somehow.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
if
know
you don't
how
have
I
the cape
did it,
on,
but
if you don't have the cape on, then you don't need them on. You can just take them
well,
off.
this is the modify. This is the one I'm going to modify.
Yeah.
The one that has the cape is on the shelf on that like Aztec type ruins that
Yeah.
I have over there. But yeah, this is a great figure. Savage did an awesome job. I love they have the joints. You can't tell me you can't have a pinless figure, out there, and with all this forms of articulation, and say it's not possible with without awkward seams and stuff, because they do an amazing job with this. This is what figures need to look like. I feel like this is the bar. Let's see what others do. Definitely, this is shelf worthy for sure. Very happy.
Not
and
going
pleased.
into the toilet.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, I'd clog the toilet with all the Savage stuff I got sitting on my desk here. But yeah, I didn't get anything else. I definitely didn't get anything else. I did open a bunch of crap. That's what it comes down to. And I've got a bunch of these things here, which I've had for a while, which are in the process of getting ready to get opened. I've got the skeletons,
Nice. The 4-pack.
and
Yeah.
I've got their leader, which I just think that works out perfect. So, my son found that and he's like, "Why haven't you opened this yet, Dad?" And I was like, I'm not quite sure. But
I had that.
yeah. So we'll definitely be busting that out here soon because all these Savages, he keeps asking me to get outside and do some photography. This past weekend was really busy because it was SummerSlam. And it was an amazing, pay-per-view weekend, 2 nights of it. Great. I won't go heavy into the details on wrestling, but CM Punk won his belt. Spoiler alert. That's a little late, but he won the belt only to lose it moments later in what I will declare the second best cash-in that I've ever seen in the history of professional wrestling. So it was awesome. And then big surprises on Sunday night with the return of Brock Lesnar. So it was a great weekend. Yeah. Wrestling was good. Family hangout time was good. Life is good.
Well, should we hit the chat before we go farther?
Yeah, let's hit up the chat before we open up the slides and go into that mess.
All right. So Teflon 3 saying he is here to defend his
what's up, man?
fandom. What's up, Teflon?
Defend his fandom?
Yeah,
you would think that somebody might have called him out about like how Superman sucks last week or something.
Then there's this guy pulling double duty. Hey, yo, what's up, Mr. Wonderful? Oh, he's calling you out big time. He's saying you were afraid to confront him.
I confronted him last week, right? Like I kind of called
Yeah,
him out, right?
I guess you called him out, but
Yeah.
he's taking it the other way. Terrence's next
What's
toy.
up,
What's
Ed?
up? Saying hello to both of
Lieutenant
us.
Terrence.
What's up? Brian from Endless Fables. What's up, Brian? And
Hey,
then
brother.
there's this guy. I'll let you read this yourself.
Oh, it's my boy, a punk with toys. Oh yeah, yeah. Screw you, brother. Screw you. Busy, man.
Accent
Busy.
Joe Fig saying hello to everyone. Teflon saying that's a good looking fig. Yeah, the Savage Crucibles or something else, man. Thor Anacostia,
Yeah,
what's
they're
going
really
on,
good.
brother? Good time. Long time no see. And Matthew saying my Frazetta girls had a label printed for 2 weeks, finally was locked up and should have it Monday. Did you get that one? I
Oh, good.
love ball and chain. I didn't get the Frazetta one this time. I figured I was going with that one. I didn't need to get
Oh,
the Frazetta one. They did a
what did
Frazetta
they do for
Conan.
Frazetta?
They did a
Oh,
Conan.
the Conan.
Yeah, it
Okay.
looks it
Okay.
looks a lot like the ball and chain, but a little. I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
got more of a Conan comic book style head and everything on it. So, and anybody
Yeah, I
after the
passed
show
on
going
those.
over to Pop Blender's channel and check out Matthew and Pop on the Evening Blend. I think
Yep.
they're discussing the Fantastic Four. Brian Ferrell's Fable saying the Savage Crucible killed it in Wave 2. Yes, they did.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Matthew picking on you about not reading the instructions about what those things are for. On
They
the
have
shoulders.
instructions?
I didn't see any instructions either, so I was Menhoza. What's up, Menhoza?
What's up, Mendoza?
Matthew saying Wave 1 of Savage Crucible was amazing. Wave 2 is great, but the fish people are going to kill it. I'm not really all excited
And if
about the
they,
fish people, but we'll see what they
I'm the
look like
same
when
way
they
as you
actually
there.
come.
I'm the same way. I that's the one wave that I didn't buy anything extra on. I got just the base backing of it, just so I could say I have them when I did the Kickstarter. But like
Yeah.
of the 3 waves, I was like, I'm happy
Yeah.
that's the third wave because like if that had been the first wave, I don't know that they would have gotten a bunch of people interested in it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, a lot of people are hyped up about it. We got
Yeah.
some updates tonight in the news where we'll
I mean,
talk
they're cool
about it.
looking
So
for sure. I mean, they're definitely
yeah,
cool looking sea creatures, but we'll see how they look when they're all done. Uh,
exactly.
Teflon saying he's got to get one of those skeleton 4-packs to use with his Conan and Constantine. Yeah, they're great for that. Oh, Matthew clarifying that they're talking about Naked Gun tonight. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
right, because the
sweet.
new
I
movie's
want to
out.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that.
And Jeff from Skunkworks saying, let's fucking go with a bunch of fire. Fire. The fish people didn't do much for me, but having seen it at cons, the paintwork is amazing. Yeah, I didn't see them at the cons. I should have checked. I mean, I think I did see them, but I didn't like focus on them when I saw them at the show. But yeah, they have from what I've gotten so far, I'm not disappointed. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, the fish people will probably be something I pick up at least one of. So
Yeah, that's cool.
that's it for the chat, brother.
Let's go into it, man. Let's just jump
Let's
right
dig
on
in.
in, right? So I think this is where we want to go to. So tonight we're gonna be throwing down a question that might sting folks a little bit. So calm down, sit back, and take some Tylenol or something that's gonna help put you at ease because we're gonna be pointing the fingers and it might be at you. Are adult collectors saving the toy world or maybe shutting the door on the next generation? It's real, right? We're
Yeah.
fueling a $7 billion industry, but are we leaving kids behind in the dust? Exclusives, scalpers, collector-only drops. It isn't this isn't going to be a blame game, but it is going to be a wake-up call. We're going to talk legacy. We're going to talk impact. But we're going to find out if we're building the future or if we're becoming part of the final chapter. So continue to stay with us as we work through the other segments, and we'll get into that main topic in a little bit. That's where we're going. Awesome. So Ed, I think it's this thing. So
All right.
I gotta click this thing first. So we have this thing.
Down by the creek where the water flows, we're shouting out to those who know. Spreading joy, sharing love, ToyLeet fam, you rise above. Shout out from the creek, you're the best. Hype up the heroes who've passed the test.
All right. This week's shout out from the Crick goes to my bro, my sometimes collaboration partner on IG, and last year's roommate at Joe Fest, the Teflon 3. So Teflon does some really awesome pictures. He's always really supportive.
And that's the latest from Capitol Hill.
The takeover has begun.
Sometimes people, when they wake up, they automatically choose violence. And Travis, Mr. Wonderful, it seems you tend to be one of these people. You woke up yesterday, looked outside, saw the sun was shining, and you decided, you know what? Time for a little hellfire and brimstone. And you went on your little YouTube show, and you brought Ed in. You guys are having a nice little conversation. But then you did just the unspeakable, the unholy. You took a shot at the wrong person. You decided to sit there and take a shot at the Man of Steel himself. And in doing so, you took a shot at me. Teflon can't abide by this. Now we understand that the DC brand is a little bit more than tarnished right now. But Mr. James Gunn, your former boy, when he fled the House of Mouse and came home to Warner Brothers, he picked our brand up out of the ashes, dusted it off, put a nice shine on it, gave it to the people. And the people have spoken in unison and rejoiced in this wonderful resurgence that we're currently going through. And you sit there and you apologize about the fact that I'm a Superman fan, sir. No apologies needed. You don't apologize when somebody's correct, and I know I'm right. You can't be wrong about sitting there loving the Man of Steel. He is Superman, the GOAT, the number one, the OG, the one where without him, none of these other characters would exist. He is the number one. Always has been, always will be. Just keep that in mind, that without him, without DC Comics, there is no Fantastic Four, there is no Guardians of the Galaxy, no Spider-Man, no Avengers, no Marvel. So what I propose to you, Mr. Wonderful, is next week, on the ToyLeet Tuesday, I challenge you, sir. I don't know what I'm challenging you to exactly because I didn't go this far in my promo thoughts, but I'm challenging you to a debate. One-on-one. I'll see you there.
Did you know that crap was coming in, man?
You just got called out, brother. Called out.
Listen,
Do you want
I
to take the shout out back?
You know, I'll let you handle the shout out because I'll suggest that Teflon has the cojones to hijack my station, come in here and mess with the ToyLeet, and I'm gonna need a week to get back to you. And you know what? Next week doesn't work for me, Teflon, because if you want to come at the champ, if you want to come at the GOAT, and you want to come at Mr. Wonderful, you're gonna wait for my response next week, and we can discuss it in more detail then. I'm good, Ed. You can go on.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, he just came at my, he's my bro, you're my bro. I don't want to get stuck in the middle, but I guess if I got to mediate between you two while you debated this, this DC Marvel thing, and whether Superman's the GOAT or not, I'll do it. I don't want my bros fighting. So anyway, to the shout out, Teflon, keep doing what you're doing, man. Great pictures. Love collaborating with you. And, everybody, if you haven't followed _Teflon_3 yet on Instagram, gone over to Instagram and give him a follow because his pictures are amazing. He took this week's little picture set for us with Spider-Man, Peter Parker checking out the ToyLeet on his iPad. So
I just think it's disingenuous. I feel like he purposefully did that just so he could hijack this part of the show, and call me out. I think that was all strategically aligned on his part. Fool me once, Shame on me. Fuel me twice. Strike on you.
Yeah, man. I tell you, he called you out. You better get prepared. I think
Oh,
we got a full on debate going, drama.
well, something.
Man, I tell you, that's a wild roller coaster to go down. The debate between Marvel and DC. It's been going on longer than Star Wars and Star Trek. Oof.
Do people even debate that? Oh, they don't debate it against Spaceballs because
They don't debate against your original.
We already know it won. We
Yeah.
know it won. Okay. We can move on from here. That's fine. We'll let them have this one. Let's
Before you jump into the
update this.
news, let's hit the chat real quick.
Go
I got to
for
get
it.
back up to my starred comments here. Been a bunch that came in since then. So Jeff saying there's so much. Oops, where are you? There we go. Stop jumping. There's so much shit on the market that it's wild. Yes. And Terrence says he's saving the toy world almost single-handedly. No need to thank him. He's just doing his part. And Rob saying he's trying to get his son into collecting. I've got him hooked on Marvel Legends and anything Superman. Yeah. It's tough, man.
Sorry.
And Jeff saying, in his opinion, toy influencers are an issue. They're good and bad. The good ones are entertaining and bring younger collectors. The bad ones are the worst. Yes. Terrence saying Mythic Legions are awesome. Absolutely. Tough Fun saying thanks for the shout out. Oh, let's see. Terrence saying, does Superman really need defending? I thought it was bulletproof. So did you. Jeff ribbing you a little bit, saying Shawn Michaels is the Rob Halford of wrestling.
I'd respond to it, but I would bag on Shawn Michaels because I don't know who Rob Halford is, and if I say that out loud, it suggests that Shawn Michaels is a nobody. So I'm moving on.
Thor saying that video was wild. Yeah, that was a good video, man. It was funny. Travis, you bring the ass, and I'll bring the whooping. Ooh, definitely calling you out now.
Man, he's hurting me now.
Terrence saying it feels like a work. Yeah.
It's working up to a shoot.
Travis is going to work himself into a shoot, brother. Dan DiBiase's here. What's up, Dan? Thanks for stopping in, brother. And Jeff saying, here's a hot take. Oh, I don't even know what the word is he's saying there. Nolaverse is better than both Marvel and DC. Oh, that's a hot take. All right, Jeff. You want to get into this debate too, I see. Yes, Travis is a lot younger than both of us, Jeff. So he's still a baby. Look at that baby face he's got. I mean, there's not a wrinkle on it.
There's a whole bunch of grays. There's a whole bunch of grays up.
Yeah, it's because you got a daughter. That doesn't count.
Okay.
All right, we're caught up, brother. It's all you.
Awesome. So we're going to jump into the weekly news here. And I think I have a special slide for that. Boom, you get just me. So let's jump right on in. Welcome, ToyLeet News Network, where collecting gets the drop before the bots do. This is weekly toy news rundown for the week of August 5th, and we're coming in hotter than a warehouse leak on a restock day. From Rising Undead Legions to Savage Dungeons drops, and the sneak peeks straight from the Toy Lab. If it moves plastic, we're talking about it. So buckle up, stack those figs, and let's get into the goods. Up first, a little quick update from Brutal Realm, showing off some images from their base body. Molds are being made to test factory production, cost accuracy, and tariff impacts ahead of full-scale rollout. Kickstarter fulfillment prioritized. Convention exclusives may hit first, but full production and Kickstarter backer fulfillment will immediately follow once quality and pricing are locked in. Additionally, more characters are in progress. You can see here in one of the next photos, Shoutout is nearly complete. Owl King, Uruk, General Khan, and Athena are next, with hopes to debut Athena's prototype and a Crowman exclusive at Legions Con. But you can see in this image specifically here some of the ab articulation, ab crunch that they have, and they anticipate having within the new model. And this is an updated picture of Shadar nearing completion. Final tweaks are being made to the cape and alternative head sculpts before the characters head to rendering by Alexandri Piovani. Convention exclusives are incoming. Brutal Realm is aiming to have some figures ready by year end, which is very interesting and also exciting in hopes for Legion's cons, as previously alluded to. They also plan to get their backer kit coming shortly. Quick update from our boys over at D17. Delta 17 has teased in progress 3D render. A new preview image was shared showing continued development, but no firm ETA yet. Prototype is targeted for Joe Fest 2026. The team does have hopes to have a working prototype of the highly anticipated bird-themed figure ready by Joe Fest next year. So as the excitement continues building, keep your eyes out for this. Four Horsemen have some quick updates for you. First and foremost, the Heroic Paladin Cleric returns. The SDC exclusive RPG figure will also be available in the February 2026 Kickstarter with the same colors, packaging, and accessories. So you will have the opportunity to obtain that even if you missed it at San Diego Comic-Con. RPG figure line expands. Additional colorways and variations of the Paladin Cleric will be part of the campaign, ideal for customizers and army builders. And Mythic Legions, the role-playing game begins. Fans can now sign up to be notified for the upcoming tabletop RPG campaign at the Kickstarter. So go ahead and check that out. Additionally, as you can see in the image, Thoros returns. The undead army rises as Thorosis, the first risen, leads the charge in Mythic Legions All-Star 6. What that means is that they announced that all the pre-orders from StoreHorseman.com have shipped, and the global retail orders will begin fulfillment on August 18th. So we should be getting those sometime at the end of August, first couple weeks of September from the sounds of it. Figures are selling out fast, so you may want to go check out your folks over at the SourceHorseman.com to check out the retailers they have available. One of our favorites to go to is the boys over at Hello Dope Toys and check and see if they have anything left. It's been a minute since I've checked, so I'm not 100% sure on the accuracy of what they have today. Also, a new image, not a new Kickstarter as it's been going on for a bit, but with all the San Diego Comic-Con news last week and the breaks we had all over the last month or so, the Legend of Ramian has been going on a Kickstarter, and this is kind of it's a recent Kickstarter, kind of with a dream team of folks that, including Eric Sosa behind some Marvel Legends, some Street Fighter figures, Soma Das of Berserker Studios has sculpted some of this stuff. I believe there's a connection to the Four Horsemen here. I think some production guidance and direction input from the Four Horsemen Studios came into play. This is targeting a $50,000 goal, currently at $25,540. The interesting thing about this is it's not so much a Kickstarter in the traditional sense of what Kickstarter is, because based on what I was able to gather, Wave 1 is essentially ready to ship. Wave 2 is currently in tooling. Unlike most other indie products, Wave 1 is already ready, so that's a little different than what you've normally seen from these Kickstarters. The campaign does run through August 12th, so you got another 12 days or so. So go ahead and take a look at that. Check out the different heroes. It's just an interesting one, and we'll keep you updated as we go forward for the next couple weeks as this is wrapping up. Not necessarily one that I'm looking to back, very similar to some of the lines that I already collect, but not something that kind of got me interested. But it looks cool, and they've done a good job. Some of the head sculpts are very interesting. So go ahead and check that out. Up next, a little update from our boys over at Savage Crucible, Harbinger Studios. They recently had an in-stock sale that went online last week. I know they still had some product in, but they also recently announced their Savage Stands and Deluxe Dungeon set pre-orders are live through August 8th, so just a few more days, over directly at their Savage Crucible site. These are the new sets, so you can have some kind of dynamic diorama options, very similar to some of the stuff you would see at their booths, and now more of a formal process. I believe that you can get the deluxe set for $24 and the individual stands for $10. The deluxe set comes with everything I believe you see in the image here, and what you'll notice is they have these removable, swappable pegs for different peg feet sizes. You'll notice right here that can go into the different holes on this stand to support the wide range of peg holes that figures use, but also you can use these holes for other accessories and diorama-like features to enhance the overall look and feel. That's it for the news this week. So, but before we wrap this week's segment, we do want to leave you with a little something from the heart. of what we believe in here. And it's a message I call Stay Wonderful. Because beyond the figures, the exclusives, the pre orders, and news, there's something deeper that connects all of us in this space. At the core, every human being needs four things: something to love, whether it's a person, passion, or purpose. Love gives life meaning. It's what fuels our joy and keeps us coming back to the things that matter. And also, something to look forward to: a dream on the horizon, a trip, a drop, a moment with friends. Hope lives in the future, and anticipation is what keeps us moving forward. Something to work on. Could it be a toy display, a creative project, a passion, or just something like becoming the best version of yourself? Progress gives us purpose. And last, something to believe in, a truth, a cause, a calling. It might be your community, your faith, or your values. Belief gives us direction. If you've got one of those right now, hold on tight. And if you're missing one, take the first step to find it. This isn't just about collecting, it's about connecting with yourself and with others. Thanks for spending your time with us. And until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and stay wonderful. On this. You're here, Ed.
Button, where's the button? Real quick.
This whole new UI.
Terrence plugging his 1,000 Swigs at LegionCon. Yes. Doing 1,000 Swigs again at LegionCon. And
did you not see my song? 1,000 swigs on the wall, 1,000 swigs to show, take one down, twist it around, 99 to go.
that
I can go all the way down to the other one.
Kickstarter, what was it? Ramian?
Yeah, it's the Ramian, I think.
All right. So Terrence is saying that Eric Miller did the painting and the Four Horsemen are doing the sculpting on that, or did the sculpting.
Okay.
On that. So
I knew there was some connections within that space.
Thanks, Terrence, for the information. And our bro and Toy Tube official maker Nolan is in the house saying hi to everybody. What's up, Nolan? I'm sure you're over hanging out with Kenzo, so appreciate you stopping by. I know I'm gonna have to take Kenzo out back next time I see him at a con and beat his ass again. So remembers. Jeff saying great message at the end of that. Stay in that high vibration, boys. Absolutely, Jeff. And Rob saying, damn it, Travis, I can't stay mad at you now.
Oh, when you feel the sweet chin music, you aren't going to have a chance to feel mad.
Ronnie Trickshot shouting in all the way from across the globe, saying, good day, gentlemen. Lobbed just in time to hear some wise words with Mr. Wonderful. There is nothing wrong with spreading the love. Keep fighting the good fight. Absolutely. And Action Joe Fig saying, yes, sir, great message. Thank you, fellas. Yes, definitely a great message, Travis. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. That's the Stay Wonderful motto, right? Awesome. So, taking us right into the main topic, the show that dives deep into everything we love, and sometimes even things we hate, Superman, about the toy world tonight. We're asking a real gut check kind of question.
Sorry, that was a good dig, man. That came out of nowhere. I love it.
Sometimes I just shoot from the hip here, boys.
Man, it's going to be brutal when you guys finally get together on a debate. Man, we're going to have some barriers up or something. Be like, like Piper's Pit back in the day. Someone's getting dropped.
He's going to need some safe words. He's going to need some safe words for sure.
He says he's mad again now.
Some of the safe words are going to be no, not the kryptonite. Oh, no. Never mind. We won't go there. But yeah, so tonight we're asking a real gut check kind of question. Are adult collectors the reason toys are thriving? Or are we the reason kids don't stand a chance anymore? I know it sounds a bit dramatic, but it's not just clickbait. This isn't Punk's show. This is ours. The numbers say we're fueling the hobby like never before. But when's the last time you saw a kid in a toy aisle that wasn't glued to his phone or iPad? In this episode, it isn't about the blame. It's about reflection, and maybe, just maybe, about figuring out if there's still time to change course. So, Ed, with that said, before we start laying down stats or throwing shade at scalpers, what's your take just walking down a modern toy aisle? Does it feel like it's still for kids, or is it just for us now?
Oh, man. I'm going to tell you this. My Walmart is a very, very country redneck Walmart. Okay. And you go down the, even the action figure aisle, outside of like the Black Series, it is all kids related toys, right? I mean, it's Ninja Turtles, it's Jurassic Park, it's How to Train Your Dragon now, it's some wrestling and a little bit of Black Series. If you go to other stores, it's not quite the same, right? There's a lot of stuff that is not made for kids, or at least, you know, something kids are going to get bought by their parents because of the price, and B, just the property itself. So I'd say, depending on what store you go to, yeah, there's stores out there like my Walmart that still catered to more of the younger generation. But you go to like Target and stuff, they have specific aisles for that type of thing, right? That's separate from the collector's aisle or whatever you want to call it. And I'm
Yeah,
not even
there's
talking
like
about
the adult,
I'm not
the
even talking
14
about like the
plus type
collector
stuff.
section backed by electronics. I'm
Oh,
talking,
okay.
you go to electronic, like you go to the toy section, in the one aisle, it's, you know, GI Joe, it's Marvel Legends, it's McFarlane, it's Black Series, it's all the more adult, you know, themed type of toy lines.
Yeah.
And no, you know, realistically, I mean, I see kids in the toy aisle a lot, but nowhere near as often as I used to. I mean, when Power of the Force came out in like 95, 96, and I go to the toy aisle in my Walmart, even back then, there was a lot of kids in there, you know, buying the Star Wars figures. And, you know, I'd be standing there looking and, you know, hand the kid the figure that was at the top peg that he couldn't reach, you know, things like that. And they were all over the place. Not like that today. You know, there's one, maybe two down there, you know, and they're in, a lot of them are in the Lego aisle. I see a lot of kids in the Lego aisle, but that's pretty much the only place.
Yeah. I mean, that checks out. Yeah. Awesome. So we'll just keep diving in here. I got a few more questions for you as we go along. So, $7 billion adult collector market recently came out. There's been other YouTubers that have talked about it. There's been some news articles I've seen, and we've been talking about it probably for a good couple of years now. I think there was a lot of people that were saying, "Oh, it's adult centric, right? Like it's all they're selling to us. They're not selling to kids anymore." But you know, let's call it what it is. Adult collectors are now the driving force behind modern toy lines. We're the ones that are pre-ordering the waves, we're backing the Kickstarters, and we're lining up at the conventions for their exclusives. This isn't Saturday morning toy hunting anymore. It's Thursday morning Hasbro Pulse drops and trying to get the F5 button to work enough so you can get in and get out. You know, we're the ones with, or at least sometimes have, the disposable income or the money we shouldn't be spending that we do. We're the ones with the nostalgia. We're the ones with the display cases, and you know, we're the ones with the knowledge. You know, brands know this. Hasbro, Mattel, all those guys, they know that, right? And they've pivoted the market directly towards us. Look at NECA, Super 7, Four Horsemen, even Hasbro and Mattel. The biggest lines aren't, they're targeting 30 to 50-year-olds now, not 8-year-old kids. We didn't just grow up and keep collecting though. We became their target audience, right? Like there was breaks, but then we got into it more, and then we just became what they targeted, right? And they realized that was shifting. So that leads me to kind of ask you: do you think this shift was just evolution, or do you think, or did we accidentally shove kids out of the picture by how deep we continued to stay and dive into the hobby?
Well, here's my take. The original like action figure collector, I think, was really collecting things from a nostalgia point of view, as far as like, you know, going back and getting that real American hero figures that they didn't get as a kid, or going back and getting those vintage Star Wars figures or He-Man or whoever it was, right? That they didn't have in their childhood, or that they had in their childhood and their mom sold it at a yard sale, whatever it was, right? And I think that's where the collector's market was. It was secondary because it was all vintage stuff. And that's why the toy shows were super popular back then, right? And when you went to a toy show, it was literally vintage toys, all, you know, every kind of vintage toy you could possibly think of. Somewhere along the lines, and I think Marvel Legends is one of the biggest ones to blame. Hasbro a little bit with the, you know, GI Joes starting to pop up in the stores again with like their, you know, 4-inch versions of the real American hero, and you know, they had some 12-inch classic collections that were in there also. So I think the change happened slowly and gradually, but I think once it caught on, Then it was just the company saw the money and just, now they just market towards us instead of marketing towards kids, and leave it to us to hopefully get the kids involved. Because not a one of them are out there really making cartoons. Sure, Motu tried it. X-Men 97 is trying to make a comeback and all that stuff. But we're not, the kids aren't watching those cartoons either any more than they're buying the toys. It's the adults. I mean, ask everybody, oh yeah, my kid watched, the Master of the Universe on Netflix cartoons, but they watched it with me because I was watching it, Luke watched Real American Hero reruns because I was watching it, not because he was interested.
Yeah, I think the most recent situation where we saw something like that was probably the X-Men 97, but that was because of our nostalgia for the X-Men of the 90s and bringing our kids to that on the Disney Plus tool, which then in conjunction with that connected all of the Marvel Hasbro stuff that they could put out there for them. So yeah, like that was an opportunity. Make note of this as we talk further, right? Because I think that's something we need to continue to champion whenever given that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Because you're right. The chat's right. I see what they're saying, right? There are not commercials. There are not Saturday morning cartoons. The kids nowadays are watching influencers on YouTube like Mr. Bill, and there are not, is it Mr. Bill?
Mr. Beast.
Is that what it is? Mr. Beast, yeah, Mr. Beast, and then you've got Mr. Beast. You've got other ones. There's like some families that do some shows where they play games and Roblox and wrestling games, and then they play with toys and board games and do things in a house, and they're like influencers. But that's the content. It's also partially the delivery method in which they get that content. If I believe wholeheartedly that if Spiro had a production company behind him with his Animal Warrior of the Kingdom line, it is new with a taste of old. If they could come up with, the artist to bring that story that's in the graphic novel to a YouTube platform or a Netflix platform where they release 3-4 episodes and binge processed, that would be eaten up like candy. But
like
until
Chewy
something
Rocks,
like that happens, it's gonna be hard.
Chewy Rocks, thank you for the comments on our Instagram post today. But he made the point about, him and I were going back and forth about the TV, right? Back in the day, all those toy companies had a focused audience from 5-6 a.m. Saturday morning until noon, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And, every Saturday. And then usually after school from, 3 to 5, it was mostly kids programming that we were watching. So they had a lot of opportunity to market to us. Like you were just saying, right? It's not that way anymore. These kids, there's so much stuff coming at them too. I mean, we see it every day in our own collections, right? Oh, it's Savage Crucible. Oh, look at this new G.I. Joe. Oh, look at this new Valaverse. Look at this new Mythic Legions. Look at this new whatever it is, right? Mezco.
Yeah.
They're just coming at you like all the time. Back in the day, it was like you're either you had He-Man and you had G.I. Joe, and then there was a few outliers that would be around for a few months or a year, and then they were gone, right? Or a new movie would come out like Indiana Jones. They produced some figures for it, 10 figures at the most, and then that was gone. So there wasn't as much stuff coming out. And I think that's why we latched on to certain lines so deeply. But we also had properties go with them. Today, kids go from, like you're saying, they got one influencer who's there. He's big, he's hot. I mean, you see these trends nowadays, right? The marketing is no different than the trends that are going on. These trends last for 2 weeks, a month, and then that trend is gone. And then it's a new trend. Look at
Mr. Beast, right? What do you see on the shelves now? Mr. Beast toys. They know it works.
Yeah.
They know 100%. That crap works. It still works today. That stuff's on the shelves. The Mr. Beast, the ToyLeet stuff that I've seen in there, that stupid stuff. Like, there's a ton of stuff in there, and it's all tied to that stuff. And it's amazing to me that other people aren't jumping on and going, wait, if we produce, I mean, they still don't know it works because the MCU movies, whenever there's an MCU movie or a Star Wars movie, there's always a wave they try to tie to the release time frame. If distribution's on spot, you get that stuff on the shelves. They know it still works. They just suck at doing it. Their delivery process to it's not right. So that brings me kind of to another piece because I believe there's more, right? So here's where kind of the vibe changes in my eyes, right? Because while adult collectors grew the hobby, right? We did. We've hand over fist, wallet, crowds, all that. You know, we spent a lot, right? But we've grown the hobby, but we've also built some barriers. Yes, all you guys in the chat, if you're not sitting there with your kid right now, and I'm trying to watch my language, but if you're not sitting there with your little, son or daughter of wonder and watching this and scrolling through the San Diego Comic-Con and images on Instagram or checking out the new release from it, you're part of the problem. You're a gatekeeper. But let's start with the scalping. It's not just resellers with booths, right? It's the bots, it's the apps, it's Discord chats, and it's the instant sellouts. It just happened with San Diego Comic-Con, that Rock Band G.I. Joe set. There was no 12-year-olds ordering that, let's be honest. Right?
Yeah.
That was all us. And it was all us fighting with each other to get 2 or 3 copies of that and get as many of them as we could, right? A kid walks into Target, they see nothing on the shelves because that's where they're going to buy. Is if they get into the store, it's because they got
Yeah, well, that's it, right? It needs to be in the store for a kid. I mean,
exactly. So scalping hurts, right? And when they see nothing on the shelves, what are they supposed to think, right? I guess it isn't for me. I guess there's nothing there. And then you got hoarders. I kind of alluded to them. The people that are grabbing 3-4 copies of that. People who grab entire cases when they are on the shelves, right? Those guys that are there at 8:05 in the morning. They do it with the sports cards and the collectible cards now. They do it with the Matchbox and
that's
diecast cars.
The hoarders, right? Though, and the scalpers, right? The problem with those guys is they're up at the store. They have a circle, right? They go from this Target to that Walmart to this store, Best Buy to, GameStop, if you still have them. They have a circuit, right? And they're there at 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning when the kids are in school. So even if a kid wanted, a Black Series Chewbacca or whatever it is, by the time the scalpers get done, the only things that are there are the peg warmers. The kids don't want the peg warmers any more than we do.
Yeah.
No kid wants, the IG-88 droid because there's no attachment and he's not an exciting figure. They want Han Solo or whoever the new character is that, gets them excited.
Something else before I go into the gatekeeping aspect. There's also another one I forgot and it just came to mind. Is you have the reboxers. They're another blocker to the market.
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
And that one like bothers me because I can think back to when I was a very, very poor child and I didn't get anything. But the times I did, I went out and got what I wanted. But if I didn't know any better, and I'm sure there's a ton of kids that don't know better, or the grandmas or mothers that are just trying to get by and provide the littlest joy to kids, they go grab something off the shelf, and I see it a lot in the WWE figures. Where somebody gets a basic WWE figure and they stuff it in an Ultimate box or they stuff it in an Elite box and they seal it and they bring it back, and the person working at Target knows about as much as the grandmother or the mom that happened to happen to pick it up later on, and it goes on the shelf. I will say there are heroes out there and not all of them wear capes, because I did see recently someone posting pictures online where they've actually gone through and like mass produced these stickers that say that this figure is not the original inbox figure. It has been swapped with a generic or broken or defective unit. Do not purchase. And they stick it on the outsides of these boxes, which I imagine probably doesn't go over well with Target because they're pissed that they were stupid enough to return it and take it in. And since they don't Devo it and they put it back on the shelf to try to sell, they probably could be considered, breaking stuff, destruction or whatever, vandalism by sticking these on them. But they're doing the future collectors a favor. So you guys that are sticking stickers on boxes that have been swapped so that people don't buy them. Because I can tell you as an example, picking it up, bringing it to the front desk, they give you looks like maybe you did something wrong, or 2, they just wait till you walk away and then they put it back on the shelf because I've seen it back on the shelf days later.
100%.
So the sticker is the best way to do it. Keep doing that. You're helping those kids get what they're hoping for.
I've told this story before. When Power of the Force was out, I was, collecting the Powers of the Force, and the wave with the Stormtrooper just came out and needed a Stormtrooper. I was in the toy aisle, and there was, back then it was a 8-foot section of Star Wars figures, and I had our Stormtrooper in my hand. There was a guy in there who had like 3 of them in his hand, and I was in there just looking at the other figures. Kid came up, was like, he was older, not like a young. He was like 10, right? And he's like, "Oh man, I was looking for a Stormtrooper," and the guy standing there with like 3 of them in his hands, like, You ain't getting my toys, kid. So I handed the kid my Stormtrooper because it was like, okay, there's going to be more of them here next week. It's the hottest toy line out there. It's not like it's an exclusive or a short packed figure. It's a Stormtrooper. It's an army builder. Of course, they're going to make a bazillion of them. So I gave the kid my Stormtrooper. It wasn't a big deal. And the dude that was buying all of them was looking at me like I was, doing sacrilegious things to him because I was giving away some toy that he, wanted. It's like, dude, come on.
It's and then you did the right thing, right? Not everybody does, and
Yeah,
that's a problem, right? That's the adult collectors who
like I've said,
are killing the hobby for others,
right? Like I said in the beginning of this, the toy companies have left it up to us to make sure the next generation is into collecting, right? I not to blow my own horn, I was just at the store 3 days ago. There was some older lady, older than me, and that's old. She must have been with her grandson, and he was begging for a Jurassic Park dinosaur, right? They were like $8.99 or whatever the hell they were. She's like, I can't afford it, whatever. And he's like, but I got $7 for my birthday. And she's like, yeah, but I don't have the extra money. So I gave him the $2 extra or whatever it was, $3 to get it, right? It's like, here, now you got it, right? Because the grandma wanted to get it for
That's
him,
awesome.
but she couldn't, right? And it's like, that's the only way you're going to get these kids.
They're not cheap anymore either,
right?
They're very expensive.
And it's like, for me, the $3 is well worth the money spent, right? Because what am I going to do with $3? Probably buy a coffee with it. I got coffee at home.
Yeah,
it's like, here you go.
Well,
Go get your
you made that kid's
kid.
day.
Yeah,
you made that kid's day. You made that you made the mom and grandmother's day, right? Like they.
Absolutely, dude. It made my day, right?
They did it. Yeah,
spreading the kindness and love is how you make yourself happy, man.
Go back to what I said at the end of the news segment, right?
That's right.
It's the 4 pillars of humanity, or I guess the 4 pillars of being wonderful.
Yes.
So that said, we didn't cover this just yet, but the gatekeepers, right? The moment they might be the worst, right? Because this happens in pro wrestling. I watched it in the pro wrestling figures forums that I used to be a part of before I got into the larger toy community, which I don't even go to anymore because it was so bad. I never really dived into the G.I. Joe heavy forums because, like, by the time I seen like a first couple, I'm like, holy crap, I don't want to.
Yeah, the G.I. Joe forums are brutal, dude. G.I. Joe.
It's the same thing as the wrestling. It's the same thing as the wrestling, like ultra critics, right? Like, so, they'll tell you don't know enough. You're not a real collector. Yeah. You've killed the spark before it could even ignite. Like
I left when I was young,
before it even starts.
10 years ago, I left Facebook. And that was one of the primary reasons I left, because I was in a lot of Adventure Team and vintage, 12-inch G.I. Joe collector group, right? But it's like people would post pictures, and if there was like one thing that wasn't vintage, these guys would like freak out and tell them that they, are banned from the group. I'm like, the guy has the whole set, except he couldn't afford the one piece that's $400 for this tiny little thing because it's, the thing that everybody lost as a kid. Give the guy a break. He bought a repro. Give it a break. He even said it in his post. It's not like he was trying to pass it off or sell it. He would just post a picture, and they'd have a meltdown because people were posting pictures of things that weren't, 100% vintage. And this was a vintage collecting group. Well, okay, dude, I got it, right?
That's like, and I don't know who I saw say it, or I've seen it on somebody I follow, and I still like their stuff. I just can't think of who it was. And we don't need to name drop if you know who this person is or anything, because it's not about being critical of them, but it's like this mentality, right? This gatekeeper mentality. And you see it in so many facets of things: collecting, designing, wrestling, everything, right? Like it's there. IT stuff that I work in on a day-to-day, it's the same thing. But like, I heard someone say one time that you're not a real toy collector if you don't collect the stuff that you used to get when you're a kid. And like, that was like, I thought about that, and I took some time to digest it, and I thought, okay, what did I collect when I was a kid? I collected the 3 3/4 Joes. I played with them. I collected what I could, right? But then like the big thing for me was the Marvel figures that like Toy Biz or whatever had 3 for like $7.99 or whatever. Or $10 or whatever at KB Toys on resales, right? Like, that's what I had as a kid. And don't get me wrong, when my oldest son was coming up and he was younger, probably about 4 or 5 years old, I was like, oh man, I should try to get my hands on some of these old ones. So I went on eBay and I bought a box or two of these open out of box, missing piece ones of them. Not from a collector perspective, but from like, oh, I remember these were really cool. My son's gonna love them. But then like he already had some of the modern at the time figures, which had
Yeah.
much more articulation, and the way they made them were better. And I looked at him, and like he didn't ever really touch those older ones. And honestly, when I was playing with him, I don't really pick them up either. I would go towards and lean towards his more modern, newer stuff. So like it got me thinking, like, does that make me not a toy collector? I mean, my wife would say completely opposite. Like anybody who sees my office would say completely opposite. So like that's gatekeeping, and I thought it was a really stupid thing to say.
I have
because
very
I
little-
don't have the old stuff doesn't make me not a collector.
I have very little stuff that I buy or collect that's based off of nostalgia, right? I mean, sure, there's some nostalgia in there, right? Because like Conan, I grew up in the 80s with all the barbarian movies and stuff, right? So there's nostalgia in it, but I didn't own a Conan figure when I was a kid. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't buy my G.I. Joes because I had, Duke or, Footloose as a kid. I buy them because, Footloose I did get from Punk because it was one of my favorite characters. But
Well, yeah,
like
but that's different.
I'm not collecting Monster Force because I had Monster Force as a kid. I'm collecting Monster Force because it's badass, right?
Well, in
Just
the
today,
lore,
like,
the history of the stuff.
Just today, highly articulated there in Space Zombies from Mars. They were talking about how they're not done with that line, right? I certainly wouldn't buy Space Zombies from Mars as much as I love that line because of nostalgia. Now, yes, there's nostalgia in it because I loved space and I loved aliens and astronauts and all that stuff, but I didn't have those as a kid, but I'd still collect the shit out of them.
Like who, like Punk, right? He has all his whole old school Joes, right? He kept them. He held on to them forever, right? So he has those. But like he goes and he gets the new classified stuff. Why? Because it looks cool. It's got the articulation. Like I won't say you might like it more, but like it's enhanced versions of what you used to have.
Yeah.
So like for me, when I got into the classifieds, there's that orange and blue figure, right? Like I've talked about it before. I can't think of his name because I always forget it, but it's one of the Viper figures.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it is neither, but
I always forget it. Somebody in the chat will mention it, but it's whatever that one is, right? It's from like the 80s. It's the one that I remember the most. Yeah. And I had it as a kid. Probably the reason orange is still my favorite color to this day. But like Alley Viper. Thank you, Superman fan. The thing is, with regards to Sorry. When you interrupt my show, I'm just gonna drop hammers. You come in like that, I'm dropping hammers, Teflon. And wait till you hear what I call him in his name when we have that confrontation. It isn't gonna be Teflon, that's for sure. That said, I got that figure. I didn't want the old one. I didn't want to go back and collect the other one. I wanted to get the modern day current version because it looked freaking awesome.
Well, we kind of talked about that
like what
when
it
we
should
talked
be.
about what scale is best too, right? Like 112 just looks better on a shelf than
in a
118,
distance,
right?
yeah,
At a distance, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that whole idea that I'm not a true collector, that's gatekeeping. And if you do that to someone and you put that message out there to someone like myself who there's no denying the collector in me, like
we're talking about today, right? Talking about kids. If you were to say to your nephew or your son, right, when they're little, hey, if you don't collect what I like, then you're not really a collector, right? When they're wanting to be a collector, all you're going to do is destroy them, right? And let's be honest, as a kid, we're not collectors. We play with things that we enjoy as kids, right? We're not collectors.
Yeah. To challenge on them, it's cool to share the lore, share the knowledge and that stuff with them, but don't be defeative to them. Don't gatekeep them. Don't make them feel less than. Invite them. Open it. It's an opportunity for you to be a kid again and share that history and that coolness and all that good stuff.
Skunkworks hates Iron Man, but his son loves Iron Man. He could easily say, "Kid, we're not doing Iron Man because Iron Man sucks," right? But he's not doing that to the kid, right? I mean,
right. Yeah, I mean, I would.
I named Luke after Star Wars, and he's never been the biggest Star Wars fan, right?
I gotcha. Yeah. So, I was going to ask you some questions. You already covered on it, though. What kind? How have you witnessed this and all that stuff? I think we covered that already with your responses there, Ed. The next piece is how do we bridge the gap? We kind of started teasing on it in some of the things there, but here's one thing: we can't just complain. We've got to offer some solutions, right? We're not here to just complain and
Yep.
tell people what they're doing wrong. I believe, you believe, Ed, we talked about this. The good news is we can still make this right by you opening up the gate. And biggest thing you can do is step one, right? Make toys part of kid culture again. To me, this means less collector-only packaging, more play sets, more storytelling. The Saturday morning cartoon. You're never going to get Saturday morning cartoons again. It's not what it was. The kids don't digest it the same way.
Nope.
But you can find a way to find out what Saturday morning cartoons is like today in 2025. And you can bring that to kids, and you can make it cool to rip open a box, not just leave it in its plastic and grade the box, right? If you're one of those people and you've got the funds, and you've got it on a shelf and you got a kid out there who likes to play with stuff, get two of them. I mean, here's the thing. I'm a prime example. I collect ultimates to display and potentially take photos with occasionally. My ultimates do not get banged around in the ring and messed around with from wrestling sets like I would with my elites or we don't even collect basics because they're just not good. So we don't mess with those. But there are some ultimates that my son loves. His Dominic Mysterios, his Finn Balor's. There's certain characters, AJ Styles, there's certain characters that he loves. And he loves the style that they came in the ultimates. So I shelled out double the pocket. I got my open box that goes in my display, and he's got his that he can play with. So give them an opportunity to bang those plastics around if they need to. Let them have fun. Kind of leading into that, right? Encourage play. Let's stop shaming kids who don't know what articulation points are or, how paint apps are. Let's let them have a play. Let's tell them, let's teach them, let's show them what that is. Let's show them how to customize
I think,
it.
that's one thing as adult collectors, especially those of us who have kids. I mean, my kids are all grown now, but I did this with Luke when he was little, right? You have to make sure that you're showing them how to play, right? So many of us take it and we set it up on the shelf. We put it in a pose. We take pictures of it and it goes back up on the shelf. And it's don't touch that, kid. And how many collectors do you see that have the Deltoffs or Detolfs and their kids aren't allowed to open them and touch the things, right? And kind of like what you're saying, if you can buy two, or take some of your collection and go out and get it dirty, man. Take it outside.
That's exactly what I wanted to say is crash some figs together, spill them on the floor, throw them in the dirt, as Ed would say. That's where the real love of toy begins, man. I can't tell you how many times my son of wonder has asked me, now the weather's not too hot, it's not too rainy, where he's like, Dad, can we go do some figure photos outside? He wants to go outside and play with some of these warriors. He saw all the Savage Crucible 2 guys. He's like, when are we gonna take these outside? That's his thing, and he knows I'll take him outside with him, but he's gotta be careful. I bought him a lot of those old, the generic GI Joes that are out there, the generic ones, the cheap dollar store and Walmart ones.
Yeah,
and I let him use them in the pool because I don't care about him. It gives him a chance when he was younger, and even now, if he's bored and he just wants to sit in the pool, he'll bring that out there with a boat in the pool, and he has a heck of a time. Let him do those things. Stop making them feel like they got to grow up so fast because little Jill or little Johnny down the street got the cell phone at 9 years old. Give them a little bit of time. Let them be kids. Just because some did that, let them have fun.
I think that's another problem that we have nowadays is so many people, and it's all of us, right? When I was a kid, I was still getting toys for Christmas when I was 12, maybe even to 13. I never stopped buying toys. I never stopped collecting toys, having toys, but even at 12 or 13, I was putting toys on my Christmas list, And nowadays we want these kids to stop
14,
playing with toys.
15, but yeah,
that's what I'm saying, right? Now we want these kids to stop playing with toys when they're 7 or 8. No, kid, you get a cell phone and go play on your iPad. Now, granted, a lot of them want the video game system or the iPad or whatever it is. They want that, right? Because that's what they see everybody doing. But
there's a balance.
Exactly. There's a balance there, right? Here, kid, here's an iPhone, right? That's a great way to segue kids into toys. Give them a phone app that has the characters and build an action figure line around it, right? You could have tiny little short cartoons or some kind of interactive game with it or whatever, right? Kind of take what McFarlane was trying to do with his, whatever those figures he was doing where you buy them and they're fidgetals, that's what they were called, where they're digital figures, Do something where the kids can interact with the figures, not just have them in a room as a collection, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we focus
Yeah.
so much on collecting instead of playing. I mean, that's part of the problem.
And I think the next piece, right, that we can do is pass it down. Gift a figure, start a conversation, play with them. Like I got a nephew who's like just a year, and I am planning to get that kid a crap ton of toys so he can play with all the cool toys that are out there. As soon as I feel like he's big enough to get like some AWOCs, he's getting some AWOCs. Like that's the perfect line in my opinion for him to bang around and playing with and not have to worry. And because my brother hates pro wrestling, he's absolutely gonna get a ton of pro wrestling figures now because like you know, I just want to give my brother a hard time. Exactly. And like at that age, as much as my brother thinks, oh, it's stupid and dumb, like they're real life superheroes. So like the kids are gonna find that cool. So he's gonna think it's cool, and he's gonna hang out with his cool uncle and watch it. So that's just the way it's gonna be. And his cool older cousins all watch it. So yeah, that's how that's gonna go down. One of the things that I think is interesting is like the pass it down and stuff. Is there's a guy that you know that's local to me that actually works in one of the school districts here, and he does stuff with like those 12-inch Joes at the young age in school. That's a guy who's mentoring, coaching, kind of passing it down. Thank you, Angelo. Who does that? Creates like comic book type things with still shots from his, Joe's 12-inch Joes that he takes out in photos. So like it's that way.
I mean, shit. It was 2010, between 2010 and 2015. Even 10, 15 years ago, Angelo was taking action figures, and he lets the kids basically sign them out like a library book. Take them home, play with them for a little while.
Yeah.
At playtime at school, take the figures down and play with them. I sent him a bunch of clothes and a couple of figures that I had that were extras that I bought in a lot, so he could have them at his school. Because I'm not. It's just that was such a cool thing for me to hear that he was bringing these figures, let the kids take them and play with them and stuff. It was like, wow, mind blowing, right?
Yep. No. And I guess Ed, that leads me to just asking this, right? And you may have already covered it, but let's reiterate it if you have, is like, if you had one piece of advice for an adult collector, I think you come from a good angle because you're a father, a collector, you've got kids that have grown up and now they're, in their almost 20s and if not older. But like, if you had advice for another adult collector, someone in the chat that's been gatekeeping or not allowing their kids to touch their figures or plastic, how would you, help them or give them advice on, pulling kids back in?
I would say this, right? I understand that you're not going to let your kid have your $150 Mezco, right? I get that. But your $25 Marvel Legends that the kid loves, just let them play with the damn thing. Because I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, and you've experienced this just recently, right? With your son talking about moving out and stuff like that, right? That time is gone. That time is gone. You can always buy that figure again. It might cost you a couple extra bucks on the secondary market, whatever, but you can always buy that figure again, especially if it's a G.I. Joe Marvel Legends type of thing, right? Like I said, I get it. Don't let the kid play with your Mezco because it's just going to come back broke because they're fragile. They're more art pieces than they are toys. But as far as the regular stuff, come on. You're not, that time you get to have with that kid and see him smile playing with that figure, and you can, like you with an AWOC, right? You get to sit down with the Son of Wonder and say, "This
those
is Pale,
are great,
right? This is Pale. This is a story. What do you think, son? Blah 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 blah." Your son smile. I mean, your son when we were at PowerCon a couple years back, right? He came back to the table. He showed me his Star Wars characters that he bought him, right? And he got from Aladope, and it's just like his eyes were as big as saucers. He was happy as hell, smiling the whole entire time, showing me off these characters and telling me about their, who they are and what they did and how they tie into the story and all this other stuff, right? That's the most important part, right? Enjoying the time, not enjoying your collection, right? And you got to take time away from your collection and enjoy the time with your kids. I mean, that's another thing, right? A lot of us collectors, we get wrapped up into Facebook, social media, and YouTube, and I got to be on this show and that show, and we forget that we have a family. And that's why so many collectors end up fucking divorced, because we forget that we have a family because we're so focused on, I got to be there to talk about my collection because it's so important.
Talk about it with the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they might not be interested, but you can try. I'm lucky enough that all my kids have been nerdy enough to enjoy that stuff over the years. That leads me next to this. Are we the problem or are we the solution, right? So, this is the heart of tonight's episode. And the one question that's going to stick with me, if we're not passing this hobby on, are we really even preserving it? because we talk a lot about legacy. We talk about honoring toy history, keeping things mint and complete. But if no kids ever start collecting, then it all ends with us. Legacy isn't about hoarding the past, it's about inviting to the future. We don't need to give up collecting. We need to make space. Space in the aisles, space in the conversation, space at the table. So give the kids a chance to sit with you, play with your plastic, break it, buy new ones, introduce you to something new. Maybe that Mr. Beast crap that I won't touch is cool, but nobody's told me to buy it yet, so I haven't had to. But, that's what I would think. So kind of sending my final piece over to you, Ed. What do you think? Are we just talking into the void, or do you actually think we're going to see more collectors start mentoring, sharing, and opening up in this space again? Do you think there's an opportunity for it?
I think right now we're actually in trouble. I think there's too many collectors out there that are not that they're not wanting to share it, but I think they're so stuck on the fact that this is my collection and I got to have this collection perfect. And I mean, like I said, how many collectors do you know that just have their figures perfectly preserved in their detolfs and don't ever touch them, right? So they don't get dusty and they just stare at them. Well, if you're just staring at your figures, then why do you bother having them? Just get a picture, get a poster. You can stare at a poster all day. There's nothing else you can do with it, right? Except cover a hole in a prison cell, right? I mean, there's no practical thing you can do with a poster except stare at it. So if you're not going to touch your toys, you're not going to play with your toys, then just buy a poster.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see us as a community challenge those people that are gatekeeping it, challenge those people that are scalping it, challenging those people that don't want to let the others in. And we talk about all this bickering and infighting across different channel tubes and stuff like that. Come at me. If you're a gatekeeper, come talk. Let's go. Get over yourself and just open up the door. Let us all have fun.
Exactly.
Because I can tell you right now, when I went to PowerCon 2 years ago, I didn't know many people. I had very, very few friends in the toy space. But when I went to PowerCon a couple years ago, when I announced Hexastack, when I got involved in the community, it was so welcoming to me that I wasn't being gatekept, I wasn't being blocked, I was being embraced by so many in the community that when I went to PowerCon, I brought Chase, and brought Son of Wonder, and we had a good time there. If we had, if people could see that and experience it from that angle, going and doing that, I feel like a kid would be like, "This is so awesome!"
Dude,
it
I'll
was
never
just
forget
such a
how
cool experience.
your son, right, was the smile on his face for hours all day Sunday when he was there, right? He had the best time. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And we got into this when we were kids, most of us. Don't you remember what it was like? So kind of let others get into it.
Exactly.
That said, Ed, that kind of wraps that up. Before we hit up the chat, though, just want to highlight next week's topic: plastic lies. Toy brands playing us. We're gonna be, focusing on, are the toy companies playing us? From fake scarcities to overhyped drops. We're diving into the tactics that manipulate the collectors and showing you how to stay sharp, spend smart, and support the real ones. Don't get played. Get informed. And
that'll be fun.
We'll do that. Couple other things before you hit that chat real quick, is that's what we got planned for next week. We are off the following 2 weeks. We will return on, I believe it is September 2nd.
Yep.
So we're on next week, and then the following 2 weeks, due to opposite vacations, I'm off for a week, and then Ed's off for vacation the week after. We're going to take a 2-week hiatus and come back on the 2nd. We'll announce that topic next week.
Yep. We got an ass ton of chat, so
let's do it.
Extra Joe Fig saying most toy companies that are marketing to adult collectors, kids nowadays are heaving into electronics. Yeah, absolutely. Jeff saying adult collectors might be the reason the planet is in so much debt. That's a very big possibility. Matthew kind of following that up with, toy makers are making more cracks stuck for collectors than they are for kids. Yeah. Products is what he's trying to say. Price points and Toyetic features prove that. Yep, absolutely, 100%. Teflon Rob saying, yeah, he can speak from experience. My Walmart is terrible. Yes, he's been there a couple of times. With the exception of younger kids, Action Joe Fig says, kids' toys, which is still big. Yeah, kids' toys, little kids' toys are still huge, right? That's why, like, when we talk about Hasbro, people are, oh, why don't they do more with G.I. Joe and Marvel Legends? That's not where Hasbro makes their money. They make their money on the, 1 to 5 year old toy range. And yeah, each store is like its own separate algorithm. Nolan saying he went into Walmart the other day. It was all kids' toys, nothing really for collectors. Yep, all their collector stuff at Walmart in the rural areas are heading back to the electronics.
Yeah, and I feel like the Targets like are doing like a rebuild or like they've got a lot of stuff going to clearance and stuff. Like there's like the normal area where like they put like the school shopping and like the Easter stuff. There's like an adjacent section in the Targets near me that's like right near that, kind of between that stuff and the dog food. That's actually just like all clearance stuff.
I was at a Target last week and there was just cartloads of the toys sitting like in the aisles to get moved somewhere else. But I don't know. A lot of it is, getting ready for back to school. And then they got, of course, the holiday shopping season coming up. So,
yeah.
Jeff saying this is a really complex question for sure. FOMO and nostalgia are the current vibe in the toy world. Crowdfunding sucks. It's targeted toward adults and what kids wants to wait 6 years for our Mythic Legions. Yeah, absolutely.
I swear he adds a year every time he posts about how long it takes him to get a Mythic Legion.
Until he gets his Mythic
1
Legion.
year, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. When he finally gets one, then he'll say, hey, it's only been 8 years. No cartoons, no
you got to order it
to drive the toy lines, etc. Used to be tons, like we talked about with the same thing, right? All the stuff that used to go on with the toys. The market changed when we allowed children to be consumed with the digital world. 100%. They no longer value physical things. It was predicted many times. Back to the Future 2 said it when Frodo said. I don't know what Matthew's trying to say there. Action Joe Figs. I hit the big 60 today, fellas, and I still love my action figures.
Oh, wow.
Even more than before. The nostalgia of being back in a simpler time. Happy birthday, first of all, brother. Happy birthday. 60 is a big one.
Happy birthday, dude.
I know there's been that meme going around that's something about like, toys aren't just, products. They're a little piece or something like that. I don't remember what the actual wording of it is, but it's absolutely right. You get a action, like I sit there, like you and I have talked about it, right? You're in the middle of a stressful day. You take a break, play with an action figure that's sitting on your desk that means something to you for a couple minutes. You feel better. You use your hands. That's like baby's toys. Absolutely. Shareholders have killed the creativity and risk-taking in the toy industry. They forgot what made the 80s great. 100%, Jeff. Any toy companies are holding the line, but they have limited reach. Yep. We got a whole bunch more, so hold on, brother.
Oh, you're good, man.
Teflon saying there were a ton of short lines with only a few that had staying power. Yeah, that's a big part of it, right? There was so many lines out there, but there was only a couple big lines, and they stayed around a long time. Dan DiBiase saying he thought Hot Wheels are still strong. I see a lot of kids in that aisle. Yeah, Hot Wheels are still strong. I mean, any toy you can buy your kid for $1, though, you're going to buy your kid for $1. And this guy right here, Jeff, him and his son have 17 miles worth of Hot Wheels track, and they race their cars all the time and have a lot of fun with it. So
I never got into the cars, man.
And this is a response to you saying you should be sitting with your kid, watching this, and Jeff saying he's in bed reading a book, which is much better than watching us do clowns. We'll give you that, Jeff.
I don't know. I don't know, Jeff. I don't know.
Dan DiBiase, you starting a channel. He says there's going to be a channel that involves 1/6 scale figures racing. I hope this helps. I hope it helps too, brother. Let us know about that. We'll definitely promote it for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Ronnie Trickshot saying, to be fair, what does Cold Slither mean to an 8-year-old? Is it gatekeeping if it's something kids don't want? The worst type of scalpers are those bozos buying whole boxes of Pokemon cards. I mean, I agree with that, Ronnie. The Cold Slither was more of the man child, crying about how they can't get a hold of it and stuff like that. But
yeah,
the scalpers that do buy the stuff that kids also want are a problem, like Pokemon cards nowadays, or something along those lines. But we're talking kind of like in general across the last couple 10 years or whatever, right, where there was collectors buying Mythic or Marvel Legends at the stores of Spider-Man and not letting the kids
Yes.
get it, right?
That's what I was leaning towards, and where I see it
Yeah.
as a scalper. The people that are as adults that are complaining about the slither, I'm not. Yes, you're scalping it and probably keeping it out of some adult collectors' hands if you stop them from getting it, and then you're reselling it on eBay for 2-3 times the price. That's a problem, but a different conversation. The that cold slither or whatever it's called, right? That's the perfect San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, right? That is an exclusive. That's not taking away from the Gen Pop that's majority of consumers are trying to get their hands on. That's
The problem
what an
is
exclusive
that
should be.
it's not an exclusive. They announced it and sold to begin with at SDCC, then put it up on their website for sale. It's not an exclusive.
But it's an exclusive to Hasbro Pulse, whatever. That's what I
Right.
mean. It's
Yeah.
not something that needs to be on the shelf.
That's just another rant
Because-
for me because I hate the way they do exclusives nowadays. If it's an
That's-
exclusive
yeah.
for a show, it's an exclusive for a show. You don't get it anywhere else. If it's an exclusive for Target, then you don't sell it at Target, but also sell it on your own site at the same time, right? It's just that's just my bitch about exclusives nowadays. It's back when I was really collecting things that were hard to get. Exclusives were exclusives, and you either went to the secondary market and paid the price, or you didn't get it at all. Thor says, for me, hoarders, scalpers, flippers are all the same because 9 times out of 10, those same people will sell on eBay or Mercari or AliExpress, some other online seller. Yes, 100%. Let the stores get mad at the stickers on the boxes. They don't want to make sure the right product got returned. This is what you get. I agree with that. I mean, the problem is you got, Sally working the customer service desk that doesn't know Snake Eyes from Storm Shadow, and how is she supposed to know that box is what it is?
Yeah, I don't criticize the store rep. I mean, they don't know, the women's and men's clothing and every detail throughout the store. Why should I expect them to know every elite wrestler, what they're supposed to look like?
Right, exactly.
It's not that's difficult for us. And actually, I think I'm going to start creating stickers like that. Maybe I'll throw them in my shipping packages, and maybe we'll do some ToyLeet stickers so people can put those on boxes and help the collectors, help the kids.
Adam joking about that guy collecting all the hoarding the stormtroopers, buying Power of the Force to resell for profit. Jokes on that guy. Yeah, absolutely. And Ted Darklaw was here. I don't know if he's still here. He's probably passed out by now.
Slip through.
But he'll be hitting the replay. Love you both. Love you too, Ted.
Awesome, brother.
Hope a lot of the stuff that I had as kids, I bought it, I sold it, I bought it again, I sold it again. I'm more interested in a lot of the new IPs. Like I said, there's very little stuff that I collect now because of nostalgia, and it's usually more based on something that I remember as a kid, as far as a show or something I was really into, as opposed to a specific toy line. Teflon
there are very few nostalgia ones that I would want. Captain Planet being one, Toxic Avengers cartoon, and other than that, there's not many.
Yeah,
Pirates of Dark Water, that's the big one.
Playsets are desperately needed. Yes. And Mendoza, it's very cool to see what IPs my son gets into compared to what I find interesting. Yeah, I was the same way with my son, right? Now, we both agreed with Batman, which I was very happy with because Batman is the most awesome superhero ever. And I'll fight anybody that says differently, Travis. But, there's a lot of things that he got into
I got an ear infection because somebody said something so disgusting.
I'll give you an ear infection, pal. He got into a lot of things that I would have never cared about, but I started caring because he cared. So it worked out great. Action Joe Figs, my granddaughters who are 6 and 7 love his 12-inch G.I. Joes, and I let them handle them and play with them all the time. Some of them, yeah, that's great. Like I said, there's some things, right, I get that you're not going to let your kid play with because it's going to come back destroyed, right? If you have a 1964, if you have a 1964 vintage G.I. Joe that's mint condition, you're not going to let your kid play with it. So it's, not worth anything to you or anybody else at that point. But
yeah.
Rob says he's still 42 and asked for toys. Yeah, I asked for toys too in my Christmas list. My son always is the only one that ever bothers, but it works out. Nolan saying he was lucky with his kids. They enjoy playing with their toys or outside just as much as they did their electronics. And that's because you gave them that balance. I mean, they're not going to do it on their own, right? I made my kids go out and do the pretend play, even if it wasn't toys, right? They were telling stories and having adventures in the woods and stuff because
Jumping on the
I didn't let
trampoline,
them
fighting
sit
the wolves.
around and, play on their video games all the time. It's great to see what my son collects compared to what I collect. Yeah, absolutely, Manhoza. And Adam, right? Let's be honest. You're not a toy collector if your stuff doesn't get played with. Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. And I know Adam has a great collection. And now, yes, he has some prototypes and stuff that, sit up on the shelf and probably don't get touched by anybody. But his kids play with his He-Man collection. His kids play with his G.I. Joe collection and stuff like that, right? And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Let's see. And Nolan, yeah, you got lucky finding Rhea that, someone that he can be with that enjoys collecting also. That's awesome. You make an excellent point, Mr. Wonderful. We have to pass this knowledge of collecting down. Wow, someone giving you props, man, for something you said 2 times in one stream, brother. You better take that down.
I mean, you might as well just call me Superman. No, don't call me that.
And I agree with Adam. Toys that get played with are rarely dusty. Mine never get dusty. They get covered in mud, but they don't get dusty. Go, Travis. Start a fight with someone, you'll get super chats. If we were only monetized, we could get super chats.
Yeah. I don't need that. I don't need to be super chatting.
And you're welcome, brother. I appreciate you coming in here, and I'm seriously happy birthday, man. 60 is a cool number to hit, man. I got it.
Absolutely.
A few more years before I'm there, but not many.
19 if I'm too counting.
Oh, shut up, you young.
Actually, crap. I have more than 19. I got 20 because I'm not quite 41 yet.
Jesus. I don't even remember 41.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's the chat,
that's
brother.
Right?
Yeah, that's
awesome. So we talked about it. Next week, we're going to be talking about plastic lies, the toy companies' deceit and dishonesty. We're going to dive in deep in there. Talk about where they're screwing us over and their false exclusive or limited runs and things like that. So come back next week.
Before you close out, Travis, let me just say this. First of all, I want to say thanks to everybody that was in the chat and really appreciate you guys stopping in and participating in the chat because that's awesome. But I also want to say thanks to like Chewy Rocks and a couple other guys that posted on our IG post and and stimulated the conversation. There's a lot of good conversation and comments made to that too. So appreciate all you guys, for stopping in and checking us out. And we'll be back next week. And then, like Travis said, we'll be off for 2 weeks. Travis is going on vacation for 1 week, and then the week after that, I will be in the mountains of Kentucky, trying to find the witch of the mountain. So
it's funny. I'm going to be in the mountains of Tennessee.
Nice. Where are you going? Pigeon Forge?
I think that's there. Is that near Dolly Parton's thing down there? Yeah, down that way.
Hollywood, going down towards Dollywood.
Yep.
You got to tell your wife if you get to Pigeon Forge, go to the world's largest knife store. Okay.
My wife will go crazy. My wife will not like that.
It's the size of a Walmart, but it's all knives, swords, all sorts of cool stuff.
We're going. She'll go shit crazy, dude.
It's a great store, dude. They got like props of swords from movies and stuff, but they also have like real blades and all sorts of cool stuff. Great place to go.
That'll be cool. I'll be taking some pictures. Got to get some custom weapons for my Savage Crucibles.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. Awesome. Anyway, if you guys enjoy the show, hit that like, hit that sub, share it, follow us on the Instagrams and those things. We appreciate you guys coming in, listening, commenting, and joining in on the conversation, letting us two nerds have a weekly bonding session over the plastic. So we appreciate you guys. Open up the door for somebody. And I know, Ed, you got some stuff going on. No Hella Dope this week, I don't think, right? Or have they announced whether or not they're back?
It's a possible no show again this week. They're not sure yet. We'll know more when it gets closer. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so I have nothing going on. But Thursday I'll be on with Pumpkin is Thursday night with a friend, and then anybody that's into building dioramas or wants to start, check out Random Diorama's late night craft and chill on Friday nights. He usually starts about midnight on his channel. He goes through basic techniques and stuff, and
That's a great one. And honestly, people should start following that show, creating dioramas, and send them to me so I can, have some cool stuff to
Hey,
use. with
that's
my
also a
figs.
great way to get your kid involved, right? My son helps me all the
Yeah,
time build dioramas.
absolutely. Yeah, he's great. He does does an awesome job.
Yep.
So check that out. Saturday, do you have the Ozfest on Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday night will be the clubhouse, and then, like I said, possibly Sunday, hella dope, and then Monday night ramblings with Punk will be hanging out in the chat, and then Tuesday I'll be back here with you, brother.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm gonna think this week on that hijacked situation
Oh yeah, we
from
gotta
earlier in the
figure
show.
something out for
So
that because
I definitely got to figure out what I want to say to him because I'm very disappointed in his approach, and I'm even more
I don't even know how
disappointed
he
in
got
the
into the
fact
show,
that
man. I really don't. Like, he's
uh,
got
yeah,
some tomfoolery going on around there.
yeah, it's working with Lex Luthor. He's talking about being a Superman. He's over here doing
Yep.
all sorts of crooked hacking stuff. But to each their own, I guess. But I'm just disappointed that somebody that watches us would be a Superman fan. But that said, y'all stay wonderful.
Step up, strike a pose, it's the ToyLeet crew. From X to stacks to toys, embryo, we break through. Unbox the fire, showcase the find. Collectors worldwide, all one of a kind. ToyLeet, we set the pace. Elite with the heat in this plastic race. ToyLeet, not just a name, we're the culture, the vibe, the collecting flame. Click, snap, pose, it's more than display. We stack with style, redefining play. Custom builds, epic drops, from stream to shelf, we never stop. It's not just toys, it's legacy we stack. ToyLeet's the movement, and we're never looking back.